Hello there. I've been right where you're at right now. When I first started fly casting, the fly would hardly get out anywhere, right? The line would be all spaghetti. Sometimes my 9-foot tapered leader seemingly would fall behind the floating line. It was a mess, and it took me some time to get it right. And now I'm going to share with you some of the tips that I learned through trial and error to help you get that fly line a little bit further than you're out today. And be sure to stick to the end of the video because I'm going to give you a casting technique that's going to be a big difference maker for you. So the first thing I want you to do, right, may seem basic, but get some line out from the tip of the rod. And I'm not talking the tapered leader, I'm talking the fly line, right? Start with a full length of fly line out from the tip of the rod. Now, you've got to basically, let's say you want to cast 40 or 50 feet, right? Because maybe you're getting 10, 15 feet out today, maybe a couple rod lengths. Let's work on a 30 to 40 and maybe even 50-foot cast. So the first thing you want to do is you want to pull line out, right? Pull line out and let it sit at your feet. It's quite all right. You want to be able to have some line out to work with. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the rod arc. So when I first started out, I'd go way too far back and way too far forward when I'm starting to generate line speed. In your brain, right, 10 and 2. In your brain, right? Think of a clock, here's noon, right? Here's 10 o'clock. I think that's from your perspective. Here's 2 o'clock. Think of it in your brain as 10 and 2, and don't let the rod go any further back. Now, the rod arc will increase with distance, but for the sake of this tutorial, in your brain, think 10 and 2. Now, the next important thing to remember is cadence. Cadence is so important. When I first got out there, I was like, I got to really whip this thing around a lot to be able to get it out. No, that's not the case. It's cadence and patience. So I want you to watch my casting stroke. And I'm just going to carry maybe 15 feet of line in the air, right? No further back than 10, 2, 10, 2. See that cadence right there? My rod arc and cadence, it's super patient. Start practicing that, right? Go out to your favorite fishery or maybe even the backyard or a park and just, it's like a hand of a grandfather clock, right? This cadence. Notice the rod arc is not going too far back. Now, when you're casting as well, try to avoid using any wrist. Now, I use a very little bit of wrist when I'm casting, but most of it comes from my arm and shoulder. You can kind of see I'm working my whole body when I'm casting. You want to avoid snapping your wrist like this. As you can see, I almost hit myself with the fly. That's not a great way to create a nice loop when you're casting. So use more arm and less wrist. See how I'm doing there? I'll go this way. Now I hold the fly rod kind of out at a bit of an angle because it keeps the fly away from my face. But see this cadence? I'm not using hardly any wrist at all. Now notice my non-casting hand. I'm managing my line, right? When I'm winging it back and forth, I've always got contact with the line because slack will kill a cast. Slack kills cast. So maybe your line is spaghettiing out in front of you because somewhere in the cast you're creating slack. I've always got my hand on the fly line until I'm ready to deliver, and even then it's real loose. Watch, I'm gonna deliver a fly. Watch my left hand. See that? I got a hold of it, but I let it loosely fall between my fingers. So you're always managing your line to make sure that you don't have any slack when you're casting. Now the other important thing to remember, so we've got the rod arc, right? 10 and 2. You're waiting for the line to fully extend out behind you. If you're hearing that snapping sound, that's because you brought the rod forward before the line finished carrying all the way out. So that's what's causing that snapping noise, right? You want that fly line to go all the way back before you start bringing the rod forward. It's okay to watch it back in the beginning, right? Watch it back, it's all the way back, forward. And we're talking right when it's about ready to curl out behind you is when you're bringing it forward. That'll avoid that snapping sound. Now you can see I'm not putting a bunch of power, right? Once you get the technique down, and you will get the technique down, once you get the technique down, the line just kind of flies right through the guides. It feels so good. You know, right? I'm sure that you've made that really good cast, you're like, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do to make the line just sail out from the fly rod? Well, you were patient, right? You didn't go too far back with the rod arc. You waited for the line to fully extend out behind you. You didn't create any slack, right? Because you're managing the cast, you're managing the fly line with your other hand. Everything just kind of worked out perfectly. Now, the next thing I want you to think about is, again, it's not enough power, but when I go back, I want you to notice that my rod comes to a quick stop. See that? Like, click, click. I always think of a grandfather clock, right? Back and forth, back and forth. And what that does, essentially, right, when you're pulling the weight of the fly line back in the fly, and it's all going out behind you, now it's starting to sail all the way behind you. When you bring the rod back, when you stop it, the rod is bending, and now the rod will transfer the energy into the fly line and then start to load up again, right? Transferring that energy from the fly rod into the fly line. So that is why you want to do a hard stop. But it's very important to remember that patience, right? And that cadence. So I've got probably, there's about 40 feet of line out. Now, one of the things that I did a lot when I first started was false casting. Now, I'm false casting quite a bit in this tutorial, and false casting is basically this. I did that a lot in the beginning, and then my dad was like saying, son, if you would have just let the line go after your second false cast, it would have fallen right where you kept false casting. So false casting really helps with accuracy, and sometimes if you're really trying to bomb it out there, you may have to false cast it 1, 2, or 3 times. But if you're just starting out, try to false cast as little as possible. And if you use these fundamentals that we're talking about today, it'll shoot right out there. So, okay, here we go. I'm just gonna do a regular cast, and I want you to notice how far I false cast, right? Look at all this line that I've got out right here. Probably about a 40-foot cast. So I'm gonna pick it up, false cast. Now I'm ready to deliver. And just like that, all that line is out. So you don't need to do a bunch of false casting, provided the technique is down. And again, you'll get there, right? If that spaghetti is happening, is one of those things, it's likely creating slack, right? Is probably what's happening. And that's why the fly isn't going out very far. So again, just take a breath, slow things down. I'll do it again here. Notice all the things are working together, holding the line. The rod arc looks good. I'm letting the lines fully sail out behind me and then delivering the fly. And I always kept my hand loosely on the fly line. Now, I've got it tight on the fly line when I'm starting to false cast. So I'm holding, right? I'm holding the fly line right now, but I'm letting it kind of drift through my fingers. Usually on the forward cast, I'm letting a little more line out each time I try to cast. And that helps, the distance, the line starts going out. Now, I'm gonna go back behind here so you can see a little bit better. All right, I'm pulling about 60 feet out. Just like that. Now you notice that my rod arc was a little further, right? A little further apart. It was getting close to 9 and 3, because when you start throwing it out there for distance, you're going to have to increase the rod arc. But for now, I'm gonna do just a 40-foot cast. I'm gonna use that mental discipline, 10 and 2. I'm gonna use all the things we just talked about, right? And just like that, I cast 40 feet. All right, so what's the big tip? The big tip is when you're first starting out, and I do this even today, right? Because it works. It makes it so much easier. A lot of times, if I know there isn't any fish directly in front of me, what I'm gonna do is called the pick up and lay down cast. It just makes things a lot easier than trying to false cast in the beginning. And I still use it today because it's just easier. It delivers the fly nicer. And if I don't gotta worry about any fish in front of me, pick it up, then I'm not too concerned, right? If I'm swinging a big streamer, and just like that. So it makes it really easy to cast when you use the water loading technique. And if you are just starting out with fly fishing and you need a little help deciding what flies to use, I put together a video right here that talks about all the flies that have worked for me over the 40 years that I've been fly fishing for trout specifically, browns, cutthroats, and rainbow. So check out this video. Until the next time, fish on.